Episode 1.10, The Separation. The next day, JSA envelopes go out into the mailboxes in the dorms, as well as the McDonald residence. Aaron went outside to check the mail, and after scrambling through a few bills and coupons, he found an envelope with 3 coupons for a 2-day, 1-night free stay at the Sunset Inn they could use right after Aaron's basketball game this coming Friday. After excessive pleading, their parents agreed to let them stay the weekend after Aaron's game. The Thanksgiving break flew by until Aaron's basketball game, where his team was neck and neck, tied 40-40 with the Falcons. They put Aaron on the bench for the longest, but when it was only 1 minute left in the game, they called him in. Aaron got the ball from the tall guy, shook at least 4 Falcon players, and went for the biggest slam dunk in history of mankind. As soon as he made the point, the game was over, 42-40. Aaron's team took home the trophy, and they all stayed afterwards for pictures before they all went to the hotel. Elsewhere, Flint snuck into JSA's center after hours and saw Nathaniel type in the code 3871. As soon as Nathaniel left the center, Flint took his phone and saw 3 missed calls from the board. He called back, and Nethys answered the phone saying that the emerald in the JSA center is a fake, and that Dave located the real one. Later that night, the group arrived at the hotel, ready to turn up with ice-cold drinks, pizza, cake, and ice cream. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. How did you do that amazing slam dunk, exclaimed Christine. Dude, you gotta show me how to do that next time, states Ed. Hey Aaron, I've got something for you, said Ike. Yeah man, what is it? He replied. Ike handed an expensive black and gold basketball that's only available in sports stores. Aaron almost teared up and gave Ike the biggest bear hug, saying that it's only because I love you, bro. After everyone was done celebrating, the boys decided to go for a swim in the heated indoor pool. Dude, this place is awesome, exclaimed Ed. Great food, awesome sweets, and to top it off, a luxury heated swimming pool. Hey, you know what time the pool closes, right? Asked Justin. On the brochure it says it closes at 11. It's about 10 right now, replied Ike. Yo, that was great of Nathaniel to treat us to these tickets for weekends, said Ed. Maybe this is his way of rewarding us for all those missions we did. It frees time for about a good hour until it starts to get cold. When 11 p.m. arrived, they turned off the heated pool, and the pool felt like as if they were in solid ice. Okay, it's time to get out now, said Justin. Where are the freaking towels? I didn't see any towels laying around when we got here, replied Ike. What the? Exclaimed Justin. Who goes to the pool and there are no towels? Wait, there's hope, replied Ed. I see towels in that room over there. Elsewhere, the girls enjoyed the rest of their night in the spa. It's been so long since last time we went to a spa together, replied Christine. Asked Raven. When we were younger, we used to go all the time, but that was when Sis and Vita were with us, replied Christine. They must be sound like really good friends, added Gina. Yeah, in fact, we used to ask for avocado facials, then we'd end up licking some of it off before people got finished with us, replied Christine. Well, it sounds like you three used to get into a lot of stuff back in the day, replied Gina. Yeah, in fact, we used to. Reagan paused as she heard large footsteps approaching the door. The door swung open as Ed and the others were ice cold, dripping, and wet for a towel. The girls began to scream in shock as to how awkward the situation was. Get out of here, you perverts! Ever heard of knocking? It's not what it looks like, seriously, Eric pleaded. We just came for some towels, explained Justin. You want towels? Here. This replied as she blasted them as she blasted them all the way with her force powers. Well, did you see that in there? Exclaimed Ed. Besides seeing a bar soap flying towards my face, no, replied Ike. Dude, I saw, bruh, we know. Now can we drive, please? Interrupted Justin. Fine, wait and kill the mood, replied Ed. The boys then have strange looks on their faces as they got only one towel. Forget this, I'm going back in my room as is, explained Justin. Same here, Ike agreed. When Justin returned back to his suite, Bruce told him that mom and dad just called to tell them good night. Hey, how's the pool? Asked Aaron. It was alright. I just want to take a bath and go to sleep. Replied Justin as he headed to the bathroom. Hey, you guys, feelings hurt? Asked Bruce. Yep, Aaron replied as Justin took a shower. Elsewhere, Khalid and the pseudo arrive at someone's house. Are you sure this is the place, Nathis? Asked Khalid. Yes, I located the emerald using my powers, replied Nathis. I'm 100% sure it's here. I never imagined running into McDonald's face after I quit the Marines, said Khalid. This is turning into quite the reunion. Alright, here's the deal. We go in and restrain the residents. We only get the emerald, put them to sleep, and head back out. Why so soft all of a sudden? Asked Flint. Let's just say this man and I have some history, replied Khalid. The three brothers' parents were about to go to sleep until they hear a large thud from outside the bedroom. What was that noise? Said Bruce the first as he got to see what it was. I don't know, replied Edith. Go check and see. Everyone elsewhere in the house, Flint yells at the studio for blowing their cover. The parents open the door to the hallway, and there they see Pseudo. There they are, get him! A Pseudo commands. Bruce the first immediately closes the door back to their room and grabs the shotgun. Bruce, what are you doing? Edith asked, surprised. The monsters are in here, he explained. Call the police. Their dad then goes outside the hallway and shoots some of the pseudo with his rifle. He searches the entire first floor and checks the second. As soon as he reaches Aaron's room, he hears Edith's voice downstairs screaming for help. He rushes downstairs until a pseudo catches him from behind, disarms him, and temporarily paralyzes him. When Mr. First awakens, he finds an old acquaintance standing before him, and then he and Edith are both tied up. Long time no see, Bruce, Khalid states. Khalid? What the hell are you doing here? Dad exclaims. Now, do you think that's polite here, replied casually, and talk to an old friend from the Marines like that? Damn it, man. What are you doing in my house? He exclaims. To be perfectly honest, we both have something I need, replies Khalid. Do you remember seeing a nice-sized green emerald lying around here? If so, I'll be taking it and being on my way. Oh, this is a nice place you got here as well. Emerald? What emerald? Replied the parents. I see. Clueless as ever. I see. Clueless as usual, replied Khalid. Hey boss, we got the emerald in this box of 40 fruit snacks we found in some kid's room upstairs, replied Flint. Good work, Flint, said Khalid. Well, Bruce and Edith, if you don't mind, we'll be taking the emerald with us. After 25 years, you're still thinking about her, aren't you? Bruce the first explained. This is all for your dead wife, isn't it? Who told you that? Asked Khalid sharply. You and Nate used to argue about everything when y'all joined. He replied, no matter what you say or do, this ain't gonna bring Leda back. You honestly think you're in any position to say such things? Exclaimed Khalid. When I inject this into you, you two will fall asleep or forget this all ever happened. Bruce, you better thank God that I have respect for a man of faith. Khalid then pulls out a syringe and injects the chemicals into his hostages, where they begin to fall asleep instantly. Before they left, he set everything up as it was a dream. You did it, said Nathis. You finally got the final piece to the puzzle. Now, there's only one thing to do, replied Khalid, and that is to wait until the day of rebirth. But right now, why not play with this power for a moment? After the group's exotic night at the hotel, Justin and his brothers return home and suspect nothing. Their parents remember none of the events that happened last night about Khalid and the pseudo getting the emerald. All seemed perfectly normal until Bruce, Justin, and Aaron went upstairs and saw the emerald was gone. They were all hoping that maybe their father found it and got a shitload of money. At that moment, Christy called and said that the three should get to headquarters pronto. The three brothers drove in Bruce's car downtown to JSA's headquarters. Hey, the emerald just turned up missing, and I don't think our mom or dad had anything to do with it, said Justin. I really hope this emergency doesn't have anything to do with it. We'll soon find out. won't we? Bruce replied. When they finally arrived to the report center, the staff turned on the news to Khalid going to various countries, swaying the masses to swear their allegiance to him. Good evening, everyone. My name is Khalid Mabor, the soon-to-be leader of the entire world. I know that's a pretty bold statement to say. I guarantee to ensure that all nations remain prosperous. I will not cater to countries as a whole, but each and every individual need of all people as well. I plan to not only provide world peace, but to urge everyone to wait for the day of rebirth. On this day, every single last person being on earth will become reality. It will be a day of remembrance for a millennium from now. Now ask yourselves, what and how will that day make my dreams come true? Well, the answer is simple. My godlike powers. I will conjure up a miracle to see that every prayer is answered. On that day, when the planets align in order, it'll bring forth an entire entrance to the heavens, and there I will call forth countless miracles. My duty is not to acquire selfish gain or power, but to see that everyone achieves happiness. So in return, I only ask for your cooperation. By submitting yourselves to my power and swearing your allegiance to the Mabor, all your wishes and greatest desires will be granted on the day of rebirth. After lending us your cooperation, you all shall become heirs to the earth that will be destined to live prosperous lives for eons to come. That is all, said Khalid in his speech. Nations clapped and applauded for his speech. What the heck would buy this garbage? Why would anyone follow a deceiver like that? As everyone continued to rant, Nathaniel told everyone to quiet down as there's still more. All rise for a new master of order, Lord Ward, a representative said to the masses. They said chants mantras all in the name of the Lord. It's so weird and disturbing that Gina grabbed the remote and turned it off. Nate, what the heck did we just see? Asked Matthew. That, Matthew, is the power of the four crystals, replied Nathaniel. There was a saying that went by that he who controls the sundial controls the entire world. Ali got his hand on the sundial as well as four crystals that went to it. It was also stated that the ancient sundial has the power to create a new world, destroy a world, or completely remake a world. Apparently, Ali is trying to do all of the above. Wait, hold on. How can an ancient sundial have that much power to do? Have that much power to do that? Asked Dante. Its legend goes back for eons when a being named Faust from the world with Thema came to prevent an impending doom from one day destroying this planet. However, this antagonist named Moros got the upper hand, and Faust was banned from entering the Earth's atmosphere forever. So Faust sent a tome that contained an animated construct in the form of an oracle by the name of Nephthys, along with the sundial and the four crystals, in hopes that maybe a human could prevent the incoming disaster that awaited humanity. He buried the tome deep underground and scattered all the crystals across the world, which were heavily guarded by elemental constructs such as griffins, phoenixes, undines, and golems. That way, if any person found Nephthys, they themselves had to be extraordinary individuals to come that far. To ensure that a person would be able to find the oracle, he wrote various maps hidden in ancient temples that could lead them directly to Nephthys, so that the individual could have a fair chance at finding her. Faust also gave humans a choice to decide on what to do with the sundial once they attained it: to create, destroy, or remake. I didn't think the myth was true until a late scientist who was a friend of mine showed me the actual papers. If one piece remained missing, the whole thing would be completely useless. The sundial represented the sun and moon, which was the true source of light, darkness, and time. It was heavily protected by vampires. The bright diamond represented the skies and clouds. It was home to wind, thunder, and lightning, which was guarded by griffins. The blue sapphire represented water and ice. It was guarded by Undines in a hidden water temple. The ruby represented fire and was found in the ancient tomb in the Muy Caliente deserts. That was guarded by phoenixes. Lastly, I'm sure you remember that emerald. It represented all of nature, green plant life, as well as the strength of the earth's magnitude. Fire, water, earth, wind, lightning, ice, plants, light, darkness, time. The person who obtains all of the missing pieces controls all those powers to the fullest extent. No way! You can't be serious! How are we supposed to compete with something like that? Voices of dismay are thrown all across the room. But wait, there's still a way to defeat him, replied Nathaniel. The user can only withstand that kind of power for a short amount of time. If we can find a way to prolong him, we can defeat him hands down. But with him swaying the masses like he did on TV, getting close to him is the hard part. So what do we do? See, what do you want us to do now? Asked Gina. I know you all aren't gonna like this, but regretfully, I have to put you all on a month's hiatus from the end of December to see whether or not you want to stay in JSA after what Holly is trying to accomplish, replied Nathaniel. What, are you kicking us out? Why are you doing this? People in the room asked. I'm just telling you all not to go on any missions or do anything JSA related because I have a feeling that he's going to get the masses to revolt against us. So it's best to keep be extremely low profile until the end of this year. Understood? Explained Nathaniel. Yes, sir. Everyone in the room replied. As everyone else was leaving the room, Justin made his way to Nathaniel to find a way to apologize to him. Hey Justin, if you're going to say that you're sorry about keeping the real emerald from JSA, then don't, said Nathaniel out of the booth. I already knew there was a decoy in the cave, so I took the decoy to JSA and let you keep the real one so the Mugor could take the bait. I thought it would be less obvious if it were hidden in the residence of a normal household, but I was wrong, wasn't I? No, it was me. Justin, you apologized too much. If I knew you weren't responsible enough to keep up with the real one, I would have never entrusted you with it. Besides, I had no idea that Kali would stoop so low as to treat you guys out to a night at the hotel, only to break into your houses and steal the emerald, while your parents can't remember anything that happened that night. So once again, all this is because of me. If I could have stopped him on the mountain that day, all this could have been prevented. But it's too late now. The past is gone. The only thing we have now is the present and the future to look forward to. Oh, and before you go, Justin, there's something I want to give you. Nathaniel walks Justin to his office, takes a box out of his closet, and opens it. Here it is. This is my very first outfit I got when I joined JSA. I was going to give these to my son Dante, but he was too big for it, and Gina specifically said she can't stand wearing men's clothes, so here you go, said Nathaniel. Justin saw that it came with a hat, torso, pants, and special design shoes from back then. Whoa, like seriously, thanks, replied Justin. That really means a lot. No need for all the stuttering. Just try to enjoy the rest of this month, and remember to keep a extremely low profile, warns Nathaniel. Yes, sir. As Justin replies to running out the door with his brand new gift. Meanwhile, the others are walking outside talking about their sudden dismissal. So it looks like the leader's giving us the boot, said Ed. I wouldn't say the boot, more like a mandatory vacation, replied Ike. Maybe he's getting us to enjoy the holidays or something. With all these tests coming up next, I consider this convenient, especially the ones for Miss Crabapple, replies Christine. Please, don't speak that lady's name in my presence, at Raven. I get sick just thinking about her. But regardless, we got the rest of this month off, said Ike. We should use it to study and rest up for the holidays. Yeah, I guess you're right about that, Ike, replied Raven. We only have about 2 more weeks until school is out again. I could use some R&R. But on a serious note, what do you guys think about Khalid trying to take over the world or something? Asked Ed. His speech didn't make any sense, but his influence is getting foreign countries to sign over to him. The weird thing is people automatically accepted what he was saying, what he was talking about, as if they were brainwashed or something, replied Raven. I have no idea, but we should keep in touch when we watch the news tonight, said Christine. I'll make sure to call Justin and his brothers to make sure they know too. When the brothers arrived home, they saw Kali was on the news once again, convincing the masses to swear their allegiance to the board, where he will ensure that every individual's dream will become reality. And like the time before, each country after another agreed to follow the reward principles. The parents were in the kitchen ranting about how insane this person is and how people can just openly follow him like this. However, the brothers told them not to worry and reassured them that this plan was going to fail regardless of what happened. After dinner, the brothers went upstairs to call the others about what they saw on the news. As soon as Justin reached his first phone, Christine was already calling him. "Hello?" said Justin. "Hey, did you all see what was on the TV just now?" asked Christine. "Yeah, it turns out the board has signed and gained allegiance of the 12 most powerful countries in the world. I'm telling you, this guy is setting up his own failure, and it's not going to be pretty," replied Justin. "I know, but aren't you at least a bit curious?" asked Christine. "Nope, not in the slightest," replied Justin. Okay, so this has been episode 10 titled The Separation. Next episode will be titled The Exile. And like always, don't forget to share, comment, and subscribe for more. This has been Wyman McDonald telling you guys Happy 4th of July. Try not to eat too much barbecue and everything. Thanks for listening. Peace.